you cannot have all of the authenticity and the personalization if you really don't focus on knowing your customer. And with knowing your customer, what comes with that is obviously all the new marketing channels. So with all the channels out there, there's so much competing for your attention, for your resources, and for your dollars. How should own channels fit into a brand? How should it fit into your larger approach, whether it's acquisition or it's loyalty? So today we're going to talk about that. And here to tell you about that are Richard Jones from Wunderkind, who is the Chief Revenue Officer there, and Sara Couch, who is the VP of Personalization for Saks Off Fifth. Please join me in welcoming them to the stage.
Okay, so my name's Richard Jones, Chief Revenue Officer at Wunderkind, and it's way of a brief introduction. Wunderkind is a performance marketing solution that helps retailers and e-commerce brands reach new customers at unprecedented scale through their owned channel. And today, we're going to be talking about how to maximize owned channel reach and loyalty performance, and I'm thrilled to be joined by Sara Couch from Saks Off Fifth. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Hello.
Well, as a way of introduction, would you like to introduce yourself and your role at Saks Off Fifth?
Sure. Sara Couch. I have been at Saks Off Fifth for about 4 years now. My current role is leading personalization, CRM, loyalty, customer insights, and research. So a lot of those things come together to make our own channels work and drive with the customer.
So first question, the market ups and downs over the last 3 years have definitely led to some major shifts in strategy for retailers, affecting all parts of the conversion funnel and personalization efforts. So what has been the loyalty journey for Saks Off Fifth over the last 3 years?
This is a journey I love to talk about. When I started at Saks Off Fifth, we were in a position where we had grown a lot in our customer acquisition, and we're really seeing a lot of success in bringing in new customers, but we needed to shift that focus to retention. How do we make the most out of the customers that we're bringing in and really grow the LTV? So we started on a research journey to understand who is our target customer and how do we find the right ways to speak to them in our day-to-day channels, our owned channels. Through that journey, we learned that we had a really strong opportunity with a younger, fashion-minded, deal-loving customer who also really loved to be part of loyalty programs. That research told us that they were, over 70% of them were a part of at least 2 retail loyalty programs, sometimes up to 10 different loyalty programs. When they were in those loyalty programs, they spent 3 times as much as they would not being a loyalty member. And that tender neutral was super important to them, meaning not tied to a credit card, but something you could join and participate in without having to sign up for a credit card. We have a great credit card with Saks Fifth Avenue, but we needed something that was going to be more broad and appeal to our customer base. So we created the loyalty program kind of off of these tenets. The last thing that our customers told us was that value mattered the most. So we knew we had to give meaningful rewards to them quickly. We knew that we wanted to focus on benefits that had value to them. And so we launched the loyalty program about a year ago, and it's been great. We have over 2.7 million customers enrolled. We're seeing at least 50% of our customers transact within the loyalty program day to day. On some days, it goes up to as high as 85%. And the frequency, which is the key metric we were going after, retention, being the goal here, is twice if you're in the loyalty program than if you choose not to join. So it's been a thrilling first year, and we're really excited.
Well, for anybody that wants to toast the success that you've had in your first year at the Wunderkind booth, we are going to do a champagne toast. So after this session, the next break, come and join us and raise a glass to your success. So let's talk about when it comes to own channels and loyalty. First-party data tends to be the holy grail for ensuring that these programs really scale and perform. So what has been your first-party data strategy?
Yeah, it's a tough one because it involves so many people and so many parts of the company. I think, starting out with loyalty, we were really purposeful in designing the enrollment process for loyalty, where customers have to give both a phone number and an email address, which has given us a lot cleaner, more recently validated data for our customers in the last year. So that's one good cleanup of old data. And those customers, as I said, are shopping twice as much, so we have a lot higher frequency on them. So loyalty helped us to maintain our database, but also clean and make it more accurate. Another key part of our first-party data strategy is make the data usable.
Right.
I'm sure a lot of retailers here have challenges when it comes to analytics resources and data engineering resources and getting to the data that you need to use to action on. And so we focused last year on launching Amperity as our CDP and really putting the data we needed to create own channel experiences more meaningfully in the hands of marketers. So our paid media team is now using it every day. Our CRM team is now using it every day. And that really helped to unlock the power of the data that we already had. And now we're shifting to think through how do we get more data, the right data? What are the tags we want to collect to show earlier signals of intent? And how do we help our data scientists use that data to action on?
Got it. Well, when it comes to acquisition and loyalty, own channels obviously play a big role, but where do own channels fit into your acquisition and loyalty strategy?
Yeah, they're a super important part. I think, it's great to have a customer come to the site, make a purchase and leave, but we want to capture pieces of information with them to keep that relationship going. So when loyalty launched, we made the decision to put all acquisition into the loyalty program, which really helped us to achieve those great first year numbers. But this year, we're thinking more broadly. We really want to let the customer choose how they want to interact with us. So we've just launched with Wunderkind, our email capture on exit intent on site. So first chance you have is loyalty. Then we're offering up more places to provide email and integrating those touch points with loyalty as well. So Wunderkind's really been great at helping us, test different iterations of where's the right place to do this and what's the right time in the customer's journey. We're focused a lot on SMS as well. There's a subset of customers who don't really like email. We learned that in the Gen Z panel earlier today. They're not exploring brands through email. SMS is an area that we're really excited about and the channel that has super great revenue per send. So that's another area. And push as well, exploring and expanding that. Really, like I said, we want to let the customer choose the channel that means the most to them.
Right, it totally makes sense. So we all know that last year has posed a ton of challenges to marketers looking to drive profitable growth as consumer spending has actually slowed. So can you talk a little bit about the success you've seen driving efficient revenue in your own channels like email?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you know, Wunderkind's been a great partner for us in that as well. In Q4, we worked to relaunch with Wunderkind to take control of our triggered programs. Trigger meaning anything that a customer takes an action on the website and that data fuels an automated program. The automation of those programs takes a lot less resources. So we don't have to work every time we want to tell a story on with content and creative and merchandising and bringing together a lot of different teams. The power of these triggers is you build them once and then they keep running and driving revenue. So we're really excited. They're driving twice as much revenue this quarter as they were before they launched. And we've gone really heavy into the cart abandon, which I'm sure all the retailers here are using. That one's working very well. But we're also seeing really great signs for the low in stock. The Saks Off 5th customer is highly motivated by the specialness and the rareness of that off-price find. And that is a top performing trigger for us as well. And then the third one that's really been another powerhouse and also very much on brand for us is price drop. Again, we learned that consumer loves a deal. And so the second we let them know the price has gone down, we're driving that increased engagement. And that gives power to other areas of the business, right? We can have the merchants set markdowns, and this automatically lets the customers know that it's happening without having to manually create a campaign. So that's been a really great area of efficiency that's helped a lot of the strategies that we're deploying as business overall.
I was chatting to one of our customers that is a publicly traded footwear brand, and they were actually saying, in terms of efficiency, one of the things they were struggling with, as I think many retailers and e-commerce brands are, is that they were being tasked to drive modest growth year over year, but with actually substantially reduced budgets, which is happening for a number of people in the industry. And one of the things that they were letting me know was that they had a 19% increase in paid efficiency after they deployed kind of Wunderkind and his identity power kind of triggered messaging, because they're able to convert the customer that they were driving with the paid ads, which becoming more increasingly expensive, into their own channels quicker. So give us a view on, what have you seen around that?
Yeah. My counterpart sitting right here with me, on the paid media side, we look really closely at how the penetration of our sales on a given day, how much is driven by media, how much is driven by email. And we also actually been reinvigorating our MTA approach to looking at how the multi-touch aspects of customer acquisition are driving efficiency. And so we also are very happy to see the counterbalance that email provides to the media spend and helping to drive that overall result for the business.
Yeah, I know everyone's very welcome to not have to spend as much on the second, the third, the fourth touch point to drive people back to convert if they don't convert the first time. So really the power of own channels comes into its own then. So good to see. All right, well, question, the last few years have definitely presented many challenges, but also many exciting opportunities. So what trends are you most excited about for the future, either for Saks Off 5th or for the retail industry at large?
Yeah, I think we're really just getting started on our personalization journey. I think that there's, to the conversation we're having about first-party data, we've just started to tap into that gold mine of information.
Right.
And we're finding ways to use it internally, but we're also finding partners that can help us unlock the power of that as well. And so I think there's just so much more we can explore to create more frictionless customer experiences and more meaningful contacts. I think a lot about just how customer preferences change, and that there's data clues that can help you figure that out and help them find what they want faster. I'm expecting a baby, so the things I'm shopping for right now are very different. Thank you. They're very different than what I was shopping for a year ago, right? Last summer it was, I'm going to Paris, I need outfits, whatever. Now it's onesies and flowy things that fit. And I have been searching, right, subtly. I actually stopped showing my team my recommendations on emails for a little while because there were so many baby things recommended and I didn't want them to know. So the power of the intents that we give the retailers we're working with and the ease that I can find the things that I need is just starting to work. And I think we can be a lot more purposeful and thoughtful with that. So I get really excited about finding ways to use that data that make the customer feel good and helpful without feeling creepy.
Now, it would be unfair of me if I didn't ask the obligatory question around AI and ChatGPT. We've heard a lot about that. What are Saks Off 5th thinking about that whole world that's emerging?
Yeah, I think, well, what I'm thinking about is the efficiency opportunity.
Right.
I'm super excited about finding more ways to be productive in our day and how can we do the things that we're already doing smarter, faster, with less pressure on our teams. I think that's one that's super exciting. I think there's, to that point, right, I'm a marketer. Creativity, storytelling, authenticity are always going to be an important part of how we connect with our customers and how we tell our brand story. So I think it's the insights that power that I'm excited to learn from ChatGPT and the efficiency. I'm sure there's a lot more that I need to be thinking about. A lot of the folks here today have given me a lot of good thought starters to kind of think and expand, but that's where we're starting, I'd say. It's
definitely a very interesting field. I think, coming from a technology company, we're seeing this huge amount of hype about AI and ChatGPT in particular after it was came out in November. But the narrative in the press is very much around kind of, AI, we've got to slow down, it's gonna kill us all. And there's a lot of fear mongering out there. And I was listening to Mark Andreessen podcast, and he was saying that there's a kind of correlation between prohibition in the US, between the bootleggers and the Baptists. And it's like, it's about who can control the regulatory environment may end up winning. So there's obviously big tech wants to be the trusted partners to use AI, and regulation can help me do that. And then you've got a whole world of spend going on in the startup space to actually try and drive, a plethora of different options out there. And obviously they need loose regulation. So we'll see what happens as this field evolves. certainly from a technologist point of view, it's extremely exciting to be able to train your own language models on data for your customers to really take personalization to the next level. So we're very excited on seeing what we think will happen very, very quickly. We're going to get to see some very interesting change. But I would say one thing. I don't know whether, has anyone ever heard of the AI feedback loop? There's a few, yeah, one or two hands up. Very, very interesting research. As we think about all the hype about AI, there's a bunch of academics that have actually modeled out now that you actually get model collapse when you get a proportion, a very high proportion of the content that's out there on the internet, and it's all being generated from AI models. AI models are then learning from the output of other AI models, and they actually lose connection to what they were originally trained with, the data coming from various systems and humans. And actually, at that point, the models can start to go completely haywire. So I think marketers aren't going to die out soon, that's for sure. So we're all good on that front.
It's encouraging.
Now, we're coming up for the last few minutes. I just wanted to get your advice really out there for folks in the audience that might be thinking about that conversation with the powers that be, the folks in the business, the financiers, the money men in their companies, about how do you start having that conversation about investing in your own channels when obviously there's other things that you can invest in to drive growth, paid media, et cetera. So how do you frame that conversation?
Yeah, it's a frequent one, and I think an interesting balance. You know, we own our customer. We own our customer data. And so finding ways to use that data first before we share it with all the lovely vendors in this room that want it or with other people, I think is super important. So there's a balance there, right? I don't want just a black box to say, this is the next best product for this person. I want to learn why, and I want to figure out what are those other applications of it, because there's insights in your data that can help you start new lines of business or bring a different perspective to merchants that they may not have heard from marketing. And so I think the balance is about knowing your customer, knowing your data, and then finding the people that are really good at doing that right. to help you create those experiences. Because the customer journey is different for every brand. The customer intent is different for every brand. And so you have to, strike that balance and use your data well.
Well, Sara, on behalf of everybody here and certainly myself and Wunderkind, thank you very much for joining us on stage to actually do this. And please feel free to come, as I said, and toast SAC's fifth success with the first year anniversary of their loyalty program. If you haven't joined it, then please do join it. So thank you very much, Sara. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.